Alright, what's going on, guys? Top Tier Gaming here, and today I'm coming at you with an updated ReZero deck profile. I recently participated in the Dallas and Houston WGP, and at one of the events I did play ReZero, and a lot of updates and changes to the deck have come since the first build, so I did just want to do sort of an updated version that I can upload. I am in a room with different lighting from normal, and that's kind of not that great, but I am testing out a new camera, being my phone, and the quality should be a lot better. So hopefully the quality is really good. I should be back into a room with good lighting eventually, but yeah, without further ado, let's get into the deck profile, starting with level zeros. 3, Amelia Runner, just great runner, 3-5, and it can only run to center, but of course just being oversized runner is very, very powerful. And then 3 Rem Clean Cut. So this card is also very powerful, being a 3-5 level 1, beating over like Suiciders and Bombs, and then just being a clean cut to get your +1s and stuff. For ratios that haven't changed, I'm not going to explain them too much because I did go pretty in depth in my first ReZero deck profile. I'm mostly going to be talking about ratios I have changed, or ideologies that have changed with some of the cards since participating in the WGP. But yeah, the clean cut and the runners, just obviously very powerful. I wish I could run like maybe a 4th runner, but like space is really tight, and I don't want to make any like super serious changes until the new set comes out, because things might change completely once that set arrives. So then you have 3 of this Rem and Ram. This card is just very good. It has synergy with like your Brainstorm. It's a level 0 Suicider, so it can help you like tri-lane at level 0, just being sort of aggressive. You're not really afraid to place in the front row. But the effect where you can discard a card, send this to waiting room, and salvage a character is just really, really good. You usually have the advantage to be able to take the -1 for the selective salvage, and it helps get pieces you're missing, and it's just very, very powerful card. So, and then next up we have 4 of this Puck. So I think this is one of the strongest cards in the deck, period. After playtesting with this deck for quite a while now, this card is just insane. So first of all, it's a Ricky, which is just a great +1 effect. And then it searches for Amelia, which is good because it's restrictive in the sense you can't search any Rem cards, right? But the level restriction is not there. And both your level 3 or level 2, since it's an early play, and your level 1 Climax combo are Amelias. So they're very, very important pieces to be searching, and your anti-change backup is also an Amelia. So you're searching like the most important cards with this Puck Ricky. And then it's also a requirement for your early play, so you're already sort of forced to play 4 in that sense. And then also it has an alarm effect where if you have 3 or more other elemental characters, which are Amelias and or Pucks, you give something 2k, which is so good for like reversing things you shouldn't be reversing. Like you can set this up to kill things you really need to run over, like maybe Priestesses at level 2, or the Bodyguard and Bunny Girl Senpai. There's just quite a few things you want to reverse, and Puck can help you get there and run over walls. And then the first change since my first draft is we have 3 Brainstormer here. I was running 2 originally, and that was sort of just a mess up when I was purchasing the cards. One of the ratios that when I was purchasing got switched. It always should have been 3 Brainstorm, because I don't see why you would be running 2. So this is a tap 2 Brainstorm, which is sort of annoying because I think the Beatrice that is tap self is a little better. But sort of holding out on buying those, waiting for Memory Snow to see if we get anything else. But this card has great synergy with this as well, because like you can tap this and then get rid of it with its own effect, and then this was like a tap self Brainstorm if you're already like planning on using this. So that's pretty good. And it's just a +1 search Brainstorm. It can also give powers and like a level at the start of Climax phase, which is a little extra power boost is nice, and the level can help you reverse Suiciders and things. You gotta be careful like later in the game though for anti-change. And then 2 of this. So originally it was 3 of this, 2 of this, and that was again just a purchasing error. But this card's still very good. 500 global, which I appreciate because it just does give you like a little extra power boost. ReZero isn't like attempting to wall the opponent or even really deny reverses, but with this you can with certain level 1s and certain situations. And then when you trigger a book, you can draw a card and discard a card, making like every single Climax in your deck when you trigger it draw 2, discard 1 instead of just draw 1, which is much better. Comes with hand filter. So yeah, that's 18 zeros. ReZero just has a very powerful level 0 game in my opinion. I do want to add a 4th runner, I just don't know how. Maybe like only run 2 of this potentially. But I don't know. Memory Snow, again, could change everything. This is just the build I ran at WGP. Which, my record wasn't that great, but I felt like I played pretty well, and like all of my games were very close, so. On to level 1s, we have 4 of this Amelia. This card is just a really good level 1 Climax combo. Being uninteractive, yet still being like 7k on offense before assist, which is pretty standard, is very good. Thins through your deck, which is very nice. Just uninteractive +1 that mills through your deck is just very powerful for a Climax combo. I really like this card. And the more I play with it, the more I love this Climax combo. It's one of my favorite, out of all the decks I own, is probably this one. And I don't think this card even needs to get like replaced or, you know, an attempt at replacing in the Memory Snow set, unless they're going to be like trait locked and then, you know, they can do their home thing. But this card is just very powerful. A definite 4 of. And next up is 4 of this Amelia. So this is what I sort of choose to play over the Puck. That is like 6/5 if you have an Amelia, and then when it's reversed, it goes to the bottom of the deck. I just feel like this card has a lot more utility. The fact that with any single one of your Climaxes, you get to, if there's a blue Climax in play when this attacks, you get to draw a card and discard a card. Just very good hand filtering. Make sure like any extra Climaxes you have in your hand get in waiting room before refresh. And she is a 106k if you have 3 or more of the characters. So like you're trading 500 power from the Puck to like lose the demerit and gain that sort of filtering effect. So I just think this is a little more valuable in my opinion. I haven't had much testing with the Puck, so I guess I could give that a test as well and see which one I like better afterwards. But right now, like this card just seems better in my opinion. And then one of the biggest changes to the deck is actually 4 of this backup. So I was running the Reinhardt backup, which is a 102k backup. This is only 1500 backup. And then I tried a ratio of like 2 of this, 2 of the Reinhardt backup. But when I tried the ratios like that, like every time I wanted this, it was the Reinhardt backup. And every time I wanted the Reinhardt backup, it was this card. So like the variance actually like wasn't helping me. So I just want to go with 4 of this because this card is actually better in my opinion. You know, it is less good as a backup. But like I said, ReZero's not trying super hard to wall. But this is a backup that like also is a 2k pump on your turn. When you're like clocking this and using its effect, and it just facilitates like your Puck giving power, and also essentially means you're running like 8 of the Puck to make sure that you get your early play off as consistently as possible. So pretty much 1500 backup, and then you can, at the start of your main phase, if this is the top card of your clock, alarm effect, select a character in your waiting room and put it where this was, which means you can get the Puck, which means the Puck can then use its alarm. And, you know, it's a very cool interaction, and I would just rather be running this, I think, over the Reinhardt. And then also, very minor note is this is blue, and it's an elemental character, in case your hand is looking a little rough. So yeah, 12 level 1s. They indeed do what they need to do. And then another change we made to the deck is 2 of this Bath Time Amelia going straight into level 2s. I was running the Rem, the Killing White Whale Rem or whatever it's called, which is really good with your Rem, you know, level 3 that is an early play healer. But this card is just better, honestly. Like, it's 2k in front to level 3s. You're running 8 early play level 3s, which means you can use this effect very quickly. And it's really important that your Amelia is like able to reverse other things like Priestesses. Again, the Bodyguard from Bunny Girl Senpai. There's just a lot of things you'd rather reverse, and this card giving more power is just better. And then on play, it also has hand filter. You draw a card and discard a card. So this deck has a crazy amount of hand filtering. And then it's also a brainstorm. It's a tap self brainstorm. For every climax you hit, you can choose one of your opponent's characters and it doesn't stand. So this is actually like a pretty good effect. The fact that it's a tap self further makes me want to run a tap self brainstorm like the Beatrice over the Rem. But like if Memory Snow doesn't give us a better brainstormer, then I'll definitely pick up Beatrice's, because then, you know, you have 2 tap self brainstormers, which is obviously very good. And yeah, so this card is just really good. And like not running it at first is actually crazy now that I'm looking back on it, because this card is just so much better in my opinion. Then the Rem, and plus this is elemental, which means like you're giving your Puck more characters, because he does need 3 or more. So if you had like the Rem Brainstormer and the Rem backup, you had to have 3 Amelias in the front row, or he couldn't give power. So it's very nice for that. And then 1 anti-change backup, you know, just deal with like anti-damage early plays, or early plays in general, but usually anti-damage early plays are like the most threatening. But yeah, anti-change backups are just very good, and it counters, you know, it doubles as a 2/5 backup. So that's it for level 2s. Just 3, but like I said, we have 8 early play level 3s. So starting off with 4 of this Amelia. So this is your anti-damage. Pretty good. You know, if you have the Puck in your clock, you can early play this. Top check, top 3, select a card, add it to your hand. Again, very good for making sure you get her Climax. It means like when you're dropping 3 of this, you're digging 9 cards, which is pretty efficient in getting the Climax you need. And then of course, you know, just anti-damage effect to sort of stay at level 2 longer, and sort of facilitate your Rem level 3 as well. So this is just a very like integral part of the strategy for 8 books in my opinion. Yes. And then we have 4 of this Rem. So this card is just very, very important. If you have 2 or less Climaxes in your waiting room, she's an early play. And that's very easy to pull off, just simply because of the way our level 1 Climax combo works. You usually refresh like at around 1-4 or 1-5 consistently if you pulled it off, depending on cancels of course, but that's pretty average. And then, you know, you can get pushed to 2-2 and have less than 2 Climaxes in the waiting room. It just seems very consistent that you're able to summon this. And then she's a healer, and she also contributes to a compression by putting characters from your waiting room under her as a marker, which is very good. These two sort of facilitate each other in a sense that you can stay at 2 longer with anti-damage and heals. However, these two also kind of contradict. Like if you're playing the Puck from your hand, you can't play this first, right? Because the Puck will go away and then you can't play this. And then the problem with playing this is she sort of puts Climaxes in your waiting room, especially depending on if you stocked any the turn before, and leading you into a direction where you can't play this. So, like, I hate that contradiction, but you just kind of have to play smart around it and know that it's there. And then lastly, for level 3 is 1 of this Rem. This was a tech I was playing at first because I was like, yo, we really lose to, like, bounce trigger. I didn't like it, or, like, bounces in general. But honestly, like, this just needs to be a game ender of sorts, because while you're playing very sustain and you can stay at level 2 longer, there are situations where, like, your opponent can just sort of sack you when you're only getting 3 attacks a turn. So this should either be like the TD Rem or like the Amelia Restander, just something to end games is what I would replace this card with in hindsight. But this card's, I think, a viable option, but you need some sort of game ending effect. And that's 9 level 3s. And then for Climaxes, we have 4 of this book that comes with our level 1, and 4 of this book that combos with our level 3. Yeah, not much to say about 8 books. It is the preferred version that I'm playing right now. I hate Book Trigger, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Book Trigger is one of my least favorite. I wish these were all pants. I'd rather be playing 8 pants than 8 books, but this is the hand we were dealt here. And, you know, they are plus triggers at the end of the day, so especially first refresh, you can use it to sort of gain early advantage, which helps with your Rem and Ram who can salvage and stuff. Just keep a steady hand size. And yeah, that is the updated deck profile with sort of, you know, quite a few changes from the last build, and maybe just some new insights on it. Again, I didn't go too in depth because I already have a deck profile where I explain most of these cards in a lot of depth. So, yep, I hope you enjoyed. This was Top Tier Gaming. I do upload Weiss content about every other day. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment. It's Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.